Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya yato anvayaditaratascha artheshu abhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Sargo Mrisha Dhamna Swena Sada Nirastakohakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Nigamakalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukamukadamrita Drava Sanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. We now enter the 53rd chapter of the 10th Skandha of Bhagavatam. We are in the middle of the glorious pastime of Krishna to marry Rukmini. So we saw in the last chapter, Rukmini sent a letter to Krishna through a sagely Brahmana expressing her love for Krishna and also the desire for her to marry him and to the plan for Krishna to come and take her away when she comes to the temple of Mother Ambika, Parvati. So, Shuka Brahma Rishi continues, he says, having listened to the message of Rukmini, Krishna was very pleased and he smiled and he held the hand of this sagely Brahmana warmly and he said, in fact, I am also set on marrying her and I think of her all the time. And I know that my marriage with her is not liked by her brother Rukmi out of his grudge against me, but not to worry, having routed all the vile kings and the princes who are assembled there, I will certainly bring Rukmini to Dwaraka and marry her. This is my vow to you. So Krishna says, Tataham api tachitto nidram cha na labhe nishi. He says, I also think of her all the time. So we already saw that Rukmini heard of Krishna and just by hearing about him, she fell in love with him and wanted to marry him. Rukmini being the expansion of Lakshmi herself. And Krishna, of course, knows that Rukmini is Lakshmi and he has decided to marry her and execute this most beautiful pastime, which is very intensely memorable in every way. It is a very beautiful and very adventurous pastime, as we can see. So Krishna tells this sagely Brahmana that yes, I will definitely marry her. And then having come to know exactly when it's going to happen, the Brahmana knows the date of the wedding. So he comes to know that it's only a couple of days away. So Krishna immediately calls his charioteer called Daruka and says, oh Daruka, get my chariot ready. Udva harksham cha vijnaya rukminya madhusudanaha rata samyujyatamashu daruke iti aha saratim. So Krishna says, O Daruka, immediately get my rata. Sarati means the charioteer. So Krishna asks his charioteer Daruka to get the chariot ready. And he is saying Madhusudana, the name used here, beautiful name. It says Udva Haksham cha Vijnaya Rukminya Madhusudana, knowing exactly the time fixed for the wedding of Rukmini, Madhusudana arranged for his charioteer to bring the chariot. So the charioteer then immediately brings the chariot very soon. There are 4 beautiful horses. Their names are even given. Shaibya, Sugriva, Megha Pushpa, Balahaka. With these 4 horses tied to the chariot, Daruka brings and gets ready. And Krishna instantly mounts the chariot and also takes this Brahmana with him. He says, you also come with me. And they both get on the chariot and they ride instantly in the night as fast as they can. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Vidarbha, the place where Rukmini is, and here the king is making arrangements for the wedding of his daughter. So even though, as we saw, the king Bhishmaka, who himself personally wanted Rukmini to marry Krishna, but his son has sway over him, his elder son, Rukmi, and the elder son Rukmi hates Krishna and he wants to give his sister to Shishupala, who also hates Krishna. So because of his attachment to his own son and also because he is powerless, this King Bhishmaka, he goes about making arrangements for his daughter's wedding to Shishupala. So he performs all the rites necessary And also the city is being decorated. The roads and the streets and the crossings are all cleanly swept. Water is sprinkled everywhere. All the citizens are given beautiful new clothes in white. Everybody is wearing spotless white clothes. They're all wearing garlands and flowers and sandal paste on them. Everyone is having such great fragrance on them, scents on them, and the city is decorated with flags and arches. And so the whole place is having a very festive ambience. And the king also does all the necessary worship. He worships the forefathers, the various demigods as necessary for this function. And then he also makes his daughter get ready. He ensures that she gets duly washed and with scented water and so on, and then given a beautiful thread with gold tied to it, and then with silk and various ornaments given to her. And meanwhile, he is having all the priests chant the Vedas, the three main Vedas, Sama, Rig, Yajurveda, for invoking the auspiciousness, and also the fourth Veda, Atharva Veda, for removing inauspiciousness, for it is said satisfying the inauspicious planet. So Atharva Veda, the fourth Veda, has all the mantras that are necessary for negating inauspiciousness, and therefore he has all the four Vedas chanted in this way. And he also gives away gifts to all the Brahmanas, silver and gold and textiles and all the rest. Meanwhile, the king, who is the father of the bridegroom, the wannabe bridegroom, who is Shishupala, his father is Damaghosha. They are ruler of the province called Chedi. And so this ruler of Chedi, Damaghosha, with his son Shishupala and with his whole retinue, he comes in a huge procession, and he is welcomed with sacred texts and so on. So he is first making sure that from his end, his priests are also chanting all the Vedic mantras and so on. And then he takes along with him a huge procession of elephants and chariots and horses, and they march to the capital of Vidarbha. And as they come to the capital of Vidarbha, the king Bhishmaka honors by coming out. He is the father of the bride, and therefore he has to honor the father of the bridegroom and the whole bridegroom's retinue. So he goes out to the city's border, hearing that the bridegroom's whole family and retinue is coming. So he welcomes them, and then he puts them all up in a very nice mansion where they can stay comfortably. So there Shishupala has come, but along with him and his father Damaghosha, all the evil kings have come. Shalva, Jarasandha, Dantavaktra, Vidhurata, Poundraka. Every one of them share one thing, which is they are all inimical to Krishna and Balaram. So it says Krishna Rama Dvisho Yataha. So Krishna Rama means Krishna and Balaram. Dvisho means they hate Krishna and Balaram. So here we can recognize Jarasandha. Jarasandha is the king who attacked Mathura 18 times. 17 times his army was decimated. The 18th time Krishna and Balaram ran away, and he tried to burn, and then he left. Now Jarasandha has also learned that Krishna and Balaram are in Dwarka, and therefore he is still burning with jealousy towards Krishna because Krishna had killed his son-in-law Kamsa. So Krishna, being the enemy of all these characters, Shalva, Jarasandha, Dantavaktra, and so on, they all get together with Shishupala, and they are all in the bridegroom's party. And so they are all coming, and they are also not only coming, but they've also brought their army along, because they think rightly that it is possible that Krishna will come and do some mischief. Krishna and Balaram may come, and if they come to take the bride away by any way, then we have to be prepared. So they come with the host of armies. So this is happening. On this side, meanwhile, Krishna has already left overnight with this Brahmana alone. So this news reaches Krishna's dear brother Balaram. So Balaram, the mighty warrior, he is always with full of love and affection for his younger brother Krishna. So he decides that he has to also go to Vidarbha because his brother has gone alone. Of course, Krishna can handle anything, but this adds to the beauty of the pastime, because Balaram, out of his concern, says we have to go and give support to Krishna because Krishna has gone alone, all by himself to take the princess, and there may be some strife, some conflict. Therefore, let's go. So Balaram arranges for a whole army of elephants and horses and chariots and instantly marches to the same Vidarbha. So all this is happening. Meanwhile, Rukmini is very sad. Rukmini is alone. So Krishna is coming in his chariot. Balaram is coming with his army behind. The bridegroom's party has come with our army. The bride's father is arranging and engaging on all festivities. The only person who is very sad amid all this is Rukmini. Rukmini is simply waiting for the arrival of Krishna, or at least the Brahmana who she had sent as the messenger. And she hasn't seen either of them, so she starts becoming very morose, very sad. So she thinks to herself, oh, how unlucky I am. There is only one night remaining for the wedding, and the lotus-eyed Lord has not turned up. I don't know what the reason is. Even the Brahmana I sent as the messenger, he hasn't turned up. He has not even come back to say anything, whether yes or no, whether he was successful or not. I don't know if there is any fault in me that has caused this to happen. And she says very beautifully, she invokes all the great beings. She says, it appears that Brahma, Shiva, Parvati, none of them are offering me their grace right now. Of course, everybody's grace is upon her. We'll see that. But right now she says, Durbhagaya name dhata na anukulo maheshwarah deviva vimuka gauri rudrani girija sati. So she beautifully invokes the dhata, which is Brahma, Maheshwara, which is Shiva, and Devi Gauri, who is Parvati. She also gives her beautiful names, Rudrani Girija Sati. So she is Girija, the daughter of mountain. Sati, as we saw the story of how she was the daughter of Daksha, as Sati, who gave up her life to be born as the daughter of Himalayas, which is Girija. Rudrani, she is the wife of Rudra, and Gauri because she is very fair complexion. So this Parvati mother, she invokes her too, and in this way she is thinking of Govinda while invoking all the great beings. So she says, Evam Chintayati Bala Govinda Hritamanasa. So Govinda or Krishna is in her heart, and she is invoking Shiva and Parvati while thinking of Govinda. We see the beauty of how Shiva and Parvati are invoked for this most auspicious wedding of Rukmini and Krishna. So Krishna, while he is on his way, Rukmini is thus praying and also very worried. And when she is very worried and praying like this, she is having tears coming, but she is stopping her tears because it is said that having tears, shedding tears is a sign of inauspiciousness, and she doesn't want any inauspiciousness. In fact, that is why it is said when parting goodbye and so on, one ought to never shed tears, even if it's with very loved one, because it's an inauspicious sign. So Rukmini also therefore prevents her tears from rolling, and she closes her eyes, and she also is supposed to take a vow of silence. So she observes silence, but meanwhile she notices that her left arm, left thigh and left eye are throbbing. So this is considered a good omen. And because her left arm and thigh and eye are throbbing, she instantly recognizes that maybe she is going to hear some good news. And just as he thinks that, arrives the Brahmana. So Krishna has arrived from Dwaraka to Vidarbha, and he instantly, knowing very well that Rukmini is in such sad state and she has to be first cheered up, Krishna sends this Brahmana to her. And so the Brahmana shows up, and not only does he show up, he is shining brightly. His face is radiating. So instantly, looking at him, looking at his bright smiles and his cheerful countenance and his very majestic walk, she knows, can clearly read the signs. She knows that he has brought some good news because his facial expressions and body language are already very positive. So she makes inquiries of Krishna. And of course, he tells her the good news. He says, not to worry, Krishna has already reached, and he has given me the assurance to tell you that he will certainly take you to Dwaraka. Now she is delighted. Rukmini is so delighted that her beloved Krishna has already come and he has given the word. And therefore she wants to give something to the Brahmana, but she has nothing now because she is alone. and she's observing this vow of silence. So she simply falls at his feet. It says here, Na pashyanti brahmanaya priyam anyan nanamasa. So she expresses her greatest gratitude. She is Lakshmi herself, and so she simply falls at the feet of this Brahmana for bringing this great news, which is the highest benediction he can be given. Meanwhile, as we see, Krishna has already reached the capital city, and Balaram is so fast that he was able to march his whole army and reach immediately after Krishna. So Bhishmaka, the king, he has come to know that Krishna and Balaram have arrived to the capital, and he knows how great Krishna and Balaram are. And in fact, as we know, the king secretly wants to give the daughter to Krishna only, but he is not able to do so because of his son who is so powerful. So the king, though does the right thing, he thinks Krishna and Balaram have come to attend the wedding, or that's the pretext in which the king also goes to welcome them. So he goes to welcome Krishna and Balaram just like he would welcome any great king who has come for attending the wedding. And he goes with trumpets and excellent articles of worship. And he very symbolically gives a special offering. It's called Madhuparka, which is made of curd and honey. And normally this offering is given as a welcome uh, dish to eat to the bridegroom. But Bhishmaka the king offers that dish to Krishna, thus signaling that he is also very much interested in Krishna marrying his daughter. And then he assigns them, Krishna and Balaram and all the troops of Balaram, very comfortable residence, accommodation for them to stay there. And meanwhile, he also takes care of all the kings that have come. So many kings have come to attend this wedding of Rukmini. And so he arranges for everyone to stay there. And the news spreads fast in the city of capital of Vidarbha that Krishna has come. So Krishna's glory is heard by everyone, his beauty and his valor and his radiance. So everyone is coming now to take a look at Krishna. All the residents of the city, they're all coming out and just to take a glimpse of Krishna, his lotus eyes. It is said, just as one would drink honey with the mouth, they were drinking Krishna's face with their eyes. It says, Krishnam agata akarnya vidarbha puravasinaha agatya naitranjalibih papustan mukapankajam. The lotus face of Krishna was drunk by the residents of Vidarbha, the capital of Vidarbha, just as one would drink honey with mouth. And not only that, all the residents, of course, they are all decked up, they are all getting ready for the wedding of Rukmini, their sweet beloved princess. But they are all looking at Krishna and thinking, this is the right bridegroom for our princess, not the one they have fixed. So they say, Asyaiva bharya bhavitum Rukmini arhati na apara. So they say to themselves, looking at Krishna and drinking the nectar of his face, every one of them says, oh, such a great wedding is arranged by the king. But alas, shouldn't this be the bridegroom, not Shishupala? Because Krishna is the most suitable bridegroom for Rukmini. So therefore, they all offer prayers. They all pray and say, if we have done any merit, may Krishna take her and go. So they are also adding to this prayer. Not only the king wishes that his daughter be married to Krishna, all the citizens also, they wish the same. They say, Anugrichnatu grichnatu vaidarbhyah pani machyutah. May Achyuta, the Supreme Lord, may he hold the hand of our Rukmini and marry her. So this is what they are also praying. Meanwhile, here Rukmini is getting ready to go to the temple as already planned. So the day of wedding has come and Rukmini has to now go to the temple. So she is starting to leave. So she is guarded by soldiers and she is leaving the palace to go to the temple of Ambika or Mother Parvati. And so she is going in a chariot, and then the chariot takes her to the entrance of the temple. So there is only a small distance where she is walking on foot. So from the temple is a huge temple, and therefore from the entrance of the temple to the main shrine, she walks with her lotus feet. And this is the opportunity for Krishna to take. So she is very eager, but she is deeply contemplating on the lotus feet of Krishna. She is already keeping a vow of silence and she is surrounded by only female companions. So, this is a tradition where the bride goes only with women to the mother's shrine before the wedding happens to pray to the Divine Mother Parvati for a happy married life. So, because of this tradition, Rukmini also goes to Mother Parvati's shrine and she comes off the chariot. She walks, she is surrounded by all her female companions. All the soldiers are all standing guard, and she goes out, and her mother is there, Rukmini's own mother, and all the elder ladies. They are all going to the mother's temple, and there is musical instruments being played, drums and trumpets are blown and so on. And there are girls who are dancing, and there are Brahmana's wives who are also there, well adorned. They are wearing beautiful costumes and jewels. They are singing devotional songs. And so there is a very sacred atmosphere as she walks to the temple. She enters near the temple. She washes her lotus like hands and feet, sips water, makes her mind tranquil, and she utters a beautiful prayer to the mother. Her only prayer, of course, is she wants to marry Krishna. Even now, she is literally now minutes away. After she returns from the mother's temple and she mounts the chariot, she'll be taken to the wedding with Sishupala. So, this is her last opportunity. So, she offers a heartfelt prayer. She says, O Mother Ambika, you are the consort of Shiva. Please bless me that Krishna marry me. So, beautiful prayer. So, normally the bride prays for her prospective bridegroom, but here she doesn't want Shishupala to come anywhere near her. So she says, Namasye Tvam Ambike Abhikshnam Swasantana Yutam Shivam Bhuyat Patirme Bhagavan Krishnas Tad Anumodatam. May Krishna become my husband. Please bless me, O Mother Parvati. So she makes this beautiful prayer. She worships the mother. And then after that, everyone offers all the various gifts there. They are offering prasad, that is preparations of food and also incense and garlands and all the rest. And then the prasad is taken and offered to everyone. Rukmini also partakes of the prasad. And then after that, the bride, Rukmini, bows down in front of the mother, Divine Mother, and then she finishes her vow of silence. This is the tradition. And after that, she comes out holding her friend with her hand, and she walks very gently back to the chariot. So now this is the very last possible window, and she is desperately looking for Krishna. So she comes out of the temple. She is walking gently, as slowly as she can, to the chariot, and she is looking so ravishing. It is said that she is looking so beautiful, and all the various kings and princes have all come there. It's the morning of the wedding, and everyone, even these Shishupala and Jarasandha, they've all come. They're all outside the temple, and everyone, they see Rukmini walking at a distance, coming towards the chariot, and they see her looking so beautiful, so charming. Her eyes are looking so ravishing. Her waist is so slender, her body is so beautiful to look at. So all of these various kings and princes, they are all attracted to her so much. But in that moment, because of that, they lose their guard. They all drop their arms down. They're all having arms and whatever weapons they have, they drop everything down, simply ravished by the beauty of Rukmini. So Rukmini is Mother Lakshmi herself, and she is the very definition of beauty. And this beauty is, of course, only for the Supreme Being, Bhagavan Krishna. But these kings and princes, they foolishly look at her, and they are so enamored by her beauty. And because of the way she looks, the beauty is described so poetically by Shukra Brahma Rishi, with her jasmine like teeth and her red lips and her beautiful gait and the walk and her anklets jingling. She is so incomparably beautiful. But because of this very beauty, all of them have lost their guard. They have put their weapons down, they have put their arms down, and they are all standing there transfixed. And she is also looking here and there, because she is actually looking, of course, for Krishna. So every time her locks of hair comes and covers her eyes, she moves that locks of hair so that her eyes can see clearly, and she is looking. But because she is looking into all the people who are surrounding, everyone thinks they are looking at her, and all these kings and princes are all even more completely as if unconscious, and they are all looking at this and thinking she is looking at them, and therefore everyone has lost their guard, they've dropped their weapons and so on. And then she is walked, and now she is reached the chariot, she is about to mount the chariot. And as she is about to mount the chariot, suddenly comes riding in his chariot Krishna. He comes in that very instant, just rides so fast. Daruka's horses, as we saw, they are special horses, they can ride so fast. So Krishna just rides as she's close to her chariot. Krishna comes in his chariot. All these kings are all completely transfixed, their weapons down, their guards down. Krishna comes instantly, snatches her in 1 second, just as she had returned to her in the form of a Rakshasa way of grabbing her. He just grabs her in one moment, seats her on his chariot, which has the emblem of Garuda, and just instantly goes away before they could blink. So these people, they are all not knowing what happened. So it says here, Krishna took away, like among a group of jackals, how a lion comes and snatches away what belongs to him. Similarly, Krishna, among this whole group of kings, in that last moment, dramatically comes and grabs Rukmini, seats her on his chariot, and just flees away so fast. And now these people are coming to their senses, Jarasandha and Sishupala, and they are wondering what has happened. We were looking at Rukmini, she was just about to board the chariot, and here comes Krishna, and he has gone away. And so now they are so frustrated. And with this frustration, this chapter ends because Krishna has beautifully taken away, carried away Rukmini. And now we will see in the next chapter what these kings do. They all have their armies, as we saw, but Balaram has come with his army. So we will see the beautiful duel between the armies of these kings and the great army of Balaram, and how Krishna marries Rukmini in Dwaraka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.